get you up and going out of bed.
Yeah, I don't wanna fall asleep, I don't wanna pass away. I've been thinking of our future cause I'll never see those days. I don't know why this has happened, but I probably deserve it. I tried to do my best, but you know that I'm not perfect. I've been praying for forgiveness, you've been praying for my health. When I leave this earth, hoping you'll find someone else. Cause yeah, we still young, there's so much we haven't done.
Now you can close the show because I can't.
Where you been? Where you been all my life? Baby, this is sin. The way you looking at life. It's obvious that I want something from you. You know what I wanna do. Every time it would bring me to life. I can only imagine what it'd be like. Oh, every time.
How are you doing? What a wonderful, wonderful evening. Technology, you gotta love it. It's the best thing in the world. So, had a couple misfires on the very beginning of the show. That's okay. That happens. And we got everybody already coming. Look at that. Hello, Cassandra. We got everybody already lighting up the Twitch. So, good evening. Hello, Anna Maria. So let's go ahead and get started, of course, with this evening's show. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's watching along, either on Twitch or on LinkedIn, because you guys are rocking it. So you guys are already killing the comments and not even, oh, hello. How are you? The intro is fire. Thank you. Okay, guys, no more, no color me bad tonight. So yeah, I had to wait for a few things to catch up, guys. Sorry about that. But that's why you got to have a few of those already ready to go. So just in case anything happens, which anything usually happens, just be ready for it. Okay, so let's get started and get all the particular information out of the way. If this is your first time checking out the show, thank you so much. We are streaming live across multiple platforms. Thank you so much if you're checking us out. You can follow us on our Twitch channel. You can see it right there on the screen. Right there, there is the you can click that into your tab right there. You can type it in twitch.tv/MFSB live. Follow us on Twitch. We are always trying to build viewership there. It is such a wonderful, fun platform to be on. So if you're checking us out on Twitch, which everybody seems like there's quite a few of you, thank you so much. And of course, we're streaming live across all our other social media platforms. You can check us out on our YouTube page at www.youtube.com/C/made from scratch broadcast. Do us the same thing. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe on the channel. We're always trying to build our viewership there. And of course, hit the notification bell to let you know whenever we go live, whenever we schedule new lives, and whenever we drop new video content on the channel. So if you're checking us out on YouTube, thank you so much. And of course, we're streaming on Facebook. You can check us out on our Facebook page at MFSB Live. Same thing on Twitter at MFSB Live via Periscope. But I don't know, Periscope is going away. We're going to find out what's going to happen with Twitter. So and of course, our favorite platform, guys, LinkedIn. So if you're checking us out there as well, thank you so much. You guys rock it. So let's get started the evening with the guest. And it was such a wonderful thing to first get connected with this evening's guest because it gave me the opportunity to start following a lot of his content. And, that's one of the best things about meeting some of these people on a social media platform like LinkedIn is that you get the opportunity to see how people create, what they share, and what you can kind of see what their makeup is as a person. So I love the fact that he puts out content all the time, and he has a certain way of doing his own sort of speaking to people and the way that he reaches out to folks on social media. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and not wait any longer, guys. I know you're ready for what's going on or what's going to happen tonight. So he's been a constant follower of the show as well, and I'm lucky to have him on the show tonight. Help me welcome to the show, Jahmaal Marshall, everybody. What is up, my friend?
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
I am doing wonderful, and of course, we got to switch this up again.
I'm Gabe. Cool.
He's gay. Oh, you can go back.
Got my
You
name
can be
back.
gay for the day. We can do we do
good.
whatever we're going here. So we're gonna fill. Hey, that's an interesting thing. We can fill each other's shoes and see what it's like to be a day in the life of Jahmaal Marshall. So kind of walk us through that. What is one of the things that you start out with? Because you have a lot of really great messages that whenever I watch your videos, sometimes you really go really poignant and deep with what you're sharing. And then sometimes, you are sharing content that is relative to the platform, talking about connection or other things. So tell us a little bit about how you come up with your quote unquote content strategy, because everybody has their own. Believe me, I know I do my own.
Got it. First, before I start, I just want to acknowledge I can't chat back because I'm in StreamYard, and Joseph Mulry can tell you about my struggles with technology. He and Kelsey can, but I just want to acknowledge everybody from Jeanette to Travis to Cassandra to Joseph to Jacob to Enrique, my bro, just everybody. Laura, love you all. Bill, I'm just seeing names, and some names because if you're on Twitch, I don't the name won't always come up the right way. So either way, just love all y'all. Thanks for coming. And I'm excited tonight, man. So, yeah, the Mickey Mouse pants is about my little emoji that I have not yet filled yet. So yeah,
Well,
super excited.
Hey, that's okay. It's okay to be technology challenged. It is again, like I said, it's not the easiest thing for a lot of folks to get a handle on. But you know what? That's the whole thing about it is you don't have to be a technology expert to share a good video strategy or share, it really is just, can you grab your phone? Can you record? And can you talk? I mean, it's pretty much that simple if you wanted to share a message with somebody. So yes, me and like Travis and Nick, we do all the little fancy doodads and shit like that, but it is totally unnecessary to get across a real clear message. And yes, guys, it is going to get deep because Jahmaal does not just scrape surface level. He's like me. He loves to go a little bit deeper than most people. So, and I love that though. And I love the fact that we're going to have the ability to have this conversation. So, let's talk a little bit about, usually when I have somebody on, I don't do it conventionally, right? Most people will like to talk to somebody about somebody's beginning and then kind of work their way. I like to go where you're at now at this point in your journey and kind of maybe work a little bit backwards and see how certain things that you've done on the platform, you've seen yourself kind of grow from one point to the other. So most people start at the beginning, but I want to know about who you are now, because I think it's very important to let people know who you are, who who've never been connected with you, and then we'll learn your backstory and go a little bit further into what you do. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Jahmaal, as far as like what are kind of like your core values? What do you love to share on LinkedIn, and
Right.
what is the most important thing for you when doing any kind of content to engage with folks?
Right. All right. Well, let's start there. So obviously, a core value of mine, which is huge, is unity. Unity amongst people, unity amongst men, amongst women, amongst different ethnicities, amongst different classes of people, if that's even a word to use. That's a
Mhm.
huge core value of mine. And that's one thing I love to speak about. And unity comes across in different ways. We think of it as just a bunch of people in the same room kind of having a conversation, but it's like rubbing shoulders past the surface, even when it's messy. And I like to speak to
Mm,
those things. It's like we all have it going on and churning inside of us. And so why not talk about it in a way that actually is palatable to everyone's understanding? Core value of mine is also kindness. On LinkedIn is a little bit different than maybe YouTube or in a sense of Twitter, where people are going to really come for you. But at the same time, be kind to a person. And we're all doing business on different platforms. We're all like building a brand. And so in that brand, you can be kind. In that brand, you can actually care about that person that you're working with. And a lot of times when people are branding or getting their business out there, people don't feel like they care about them. I want people to know, like, hey, if no one cared about you, if I left this earth today, that one cared about me. He took an interest in me as a person. And so that's a huge core value of mine. And also faith. Now I realize on this platform, you think about it, we know people from Hawaii all the way to Russia. There's going to be an array of beliefs. There's going to be agnostic, atheist, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, you name it. But my faith is a huge part of who I am, and authenticity is a core value. So a lot of times, especially in today's world, you hear the word authentic so much that it loses meaning. And it's like, okay, be authentically you, but sometimes that authenticity is like, be authentically you until it doesn't make me comfortable. It's like, no, be authentically you no matter who you are or where you are. I am, I don't propagate or convert. I am a Christian, but also know I'm wretched. I'm a Christian because I need God. I'm a Christian because I have a human nature that is horrible, that you don't have to tell me when I was 2 how to take my Mack truck, which has got all sorts of lights, and go over and bang my sister in the head who's playing with her dog for no reason. It's just my nature. So I need that kindness, that grace and peace that has a root somewhere. That's just not innate. I wasn't born with that. And so that's a core value of mine. But I realize that, you don't go out and convert a person that's been raised to think the way that they think and say, you need to think the way I think. It's like, this is just the way, my core value, how I live. I want to share it, take it or leave it. And
I love that, because like I tell everybody, I love to live in a judgment-free zone. That's just me. That's where I choose to stay at. Right. Everybody has their beliefs. Everybody has what kind of their makeup is and what has been their foundation of what they believe in and how they live their lives.
right.
Everybody's different, but that's the beauty of what we are as human beings. Each of us is unique, and even the way that we interpret some of the same things, even people who do interpret the scriptures, look at them differently.
Yeah.
I mean, so to sit there and judge somebody simply for the fact that they don't have a same belief as you, I mean, to me, that's kind of, you're doing the same sort of deal when you look at down people like that and give them judgment. That's not my place.
No.
My place is to, if somebody needs the help or they want to kind of walk into that role or that path of enlightenment that they're seeking, and it leads them to where I'm at, and it can help them learn, and I can help guide them, I'm all for that. All Believe me, I love that opportunity to have the fact to kind of help somebody find who they're supposed to be. I mean, I do this all the time. This is what I simply love about connection and engagement. But I don't try to force anybody or box anybody into doing that, because again, you're doing the same thing. If you're trying to convince somebody of against their own will to believe a belief, they're still going to have it, even if you try to, even if you beat it into their heads, it still stays there subconsciously. They know it. You really have to have an open mind and to take that in consciously, that that's who you're going to be, and that's what you want to become when you change. So You have to be ready for all that. You have to be able to take those steps. I've had these conversations with a few folks, believe me, these last couple of days.
Right.
You have to be the one to be open. You're the one that has to be able to be able to say, you know what, I want to become whoever I'm meant to be. But at that point, that's when you say, when you have somebody that's willing and open, okay, that's the point where you go, now let's see if I can help guide you where you want to go. Let's see if what I talk about will help you learn. If you see me as an example and I'm a beacon that you can follow, then please, by all means, let's go. Let me be the conduit to lead you wherever you're supposed to be heading to. So I love the fact that you do this. And this is what I tell people about understanding what your core values are as a person, right?
Yeah. And I
Somebody
would
told.
say, oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead. I'm so no. Go ahead. I was just going to say something else, but I want to hear what you have to say.
No, just when you said that, it just kind of hit me like with core values. You got to think like in this culture that we live in, and we talk a lot about cancel culture. We typically tend to fear like, what if my core value is not the popular thing? And I'm just going to like kick it real. Like I know the comment section is like on fire right now, but if anybody's like cued in, like listen well. I will say this: I'm 5'9", barely not even near 180 pounds. One thing I know is I'm not weak. I'm not weak to say who I really am. And that's what weak. I know some people who are 300 pounds who bench 400 pounds a day. They are weak because they can come into a room and they're afraid to get counseled. And it's like, I'm no matter what happens, before I came to this platform or any other platform, I still was who I was. And when I go to bed tonight, I'm going to eat good and I'm going to sleep well. And my conscience will be clear knowing that I did what I could and I said what I was supposed to say. If it landed with whoever it landed with and it caught fire and that fire helped them, and so be it. And so I would say for those who are like afraid to be counseled, man, you have nothing to fear. And if you feel like there's an atmosphere that's kind of being set up for you to be counseled, or like I'm afraid to get counseled, like I'm white, I'm not supposed to, man, you be hella white because I'm gonna be hella black. If you Asian, you be hella Asian. You be who you are. You be who God created you to be. I get so tired of this counsel culture, man. It's just we claim to be so bold, but we're all just scared. It's like scared to say who we really are. So that's a core value of mine. Being bold, but not just being bold with a chip on the shoulder. I don't think God will bless that. Rebelling against, I'll say being a rebel with a cause, rebelling against the groupthink that is so popular and so incessant. It makes me sick.
Well, there's a wonderful comment. Thank you, Reggie Waterman. Adding value already. So
thanks, bro.
Thanks. You're amazing. No, but in all seriousness, I feel so much of what you're talking about, because again, no matter what, at the end of the day, we all have to answer the bell of who we are as a person. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, am I satisfied with what I did today? Am I satisfied? If you can do that every single night and go to bed with a clear conscience, you're not going to have many problems in life as far as like, and I'm not talking about health problems or things that God will put God in things in your path that you need to have. But what I mean by that is so much so is unnecessary problems that you're putting on yourself, where so much so is unnecessary stress or worries or things that you don't have to take, that don't have to take priority in your life, but some people make them a priority. They put them in there, and it becomes such a thing that can be overbearing, or it can overwhelm somebody simply because they allow it to be. So, yeah, I love that you say that. I mean, that's why I kind of like watch your content, and I say I vibe with him very much because we do have a lot of the same sort of values. And and here's the thing, right? Just like you said, you're going to be you no matter what, right? And this is the one thing I've kind of told people that's very hard to understand when we're talking about things like even talking about racism, right? Here's the reality of anything and everything, no matter what. You can have the best mindset. You can be the most self-conscious person. You can be everything that everybody talks about being. Oh my, he's so aware. He could be the Dalai Lama. He could be this, right? But the one thing that you're always going to remember as well, that tomorrow when you wake up, this is going to be the same too. Your skin color, That never changes. That's one of the things that you will never be able to change, no matter what. So, accept that fact. Be happy with it. Go with it and say, like I said, I'm going to be a black man. I'm going to be a black man. You be you. I understand that. So we put all these again, we put all these unnecessary sort of problems and values in front of people whenever we talk about these sort of issues. And I think more than I think more than anything that I think more than anything that if we look at all in all reality of how we are as people, people want to say that I'm not that kind of person. I don't look at color. That to me, when somebody says that right away, I'm like, okay, you're actually pointing out the fact that there's color.
Exactly.
Right. So instead of just saying I see you as a person, I see you, I would be more open to that than somebody saying, oh well, I don't see color. To me, that's the acknowledgement of it, and whether you know it or not, subconsciously, back there, it takes it in. It knows. So,
right.
Go ahead.
Let's park there because you're unearthing something. Like, that's the beauty of who that person is. Like Jeanette, before she left out the chat, like she quoted, she said, "I'm hella Filipino," and she is. That's what I love about her. When I engage with her content, I see a Filipino woman who loves her culture, and it's just like when I see different people on here, it's like love who you are. And I think there's even a culture now that's saying, "Oh, if you're white, don't be white." No, if you white, man, be hella white. But the consensus has been for a long time, don't be too black. Not if you black, be hella black. If you're Hispanic, be hella Hispanic. Be whatever you are and be proud of what God made you, because even when he made you, he wasn't making any mistakes. And a lot of times when we say I don't see color, we've all been hardwired to say that. I mean, even me in our house, I wasn't raised in a really culturally charged house. We weren't even allowed to say, like, my mom, she used to tell us, and she's a amazing woman. She's the gem of gems. White was considered racist, so we had to say Caucasian. I was like, that's so wrong, Ma. So we were raised really in that way. But at the same time, I know a friend who says they said for the longest time they didn't see color, and they meant well. People mean well when they say it, but we don't realize that we're not seeing what God made in that person, all the uniqueness that he put in them. So when I see my team, my supervisor is Indian, my coworker is Asian, and another coworker of mine is German, and all of us, it's like the four of us are so different. Our team is just so different, but that's why we work so well together, like a well-oiled machine. So
because of your uniqueness.
That's it.
And that's what a lot of times I try to tell people to focus on, because in the most simplistic terms, we have everybody born on this planet has the same makeup. We're built on DNA. We're built on our exoskeleton. Everything about us is essentially the same, except for one thing. This up here. In here, our computers, our hardwires are up there, are programmed differently. Every single buddy. Now, some people in science will call that neuroplasticity. I just call that being one of God's children. Free will is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
So whatever you want to label it. The whole thing about it is that you have the ability to be who you are every single day. And that's what I tell everybody. If your path of discovery takes you down a zag every single time, so be it. I mean, but in the end, and I'm telling everybody about the value of life is the fact that, you want to be able to say, I've discovered what I'm supposed to be doing. I found my gift, and I'm living inside my gift. And that's what I tell everybody. That's what your journey is. Everybody, and I hate to, well, I don't know. I don't hate to say it. Wrong word. I said, I love that there's a video that I've watched over and over and over again that Steve Harvey did called Jump. Now, I don't know if everybody's seen that, but he's talking about your gift and your talent, what God given, right? You've been given, and what it is to go and find that and live life. And that's the whole thing behind the message that he's talking about. And it resonated so much so with me that I had to put my own self in action and go find what it is my path was supposed to be. And again, most people are happily living inside of whatever labels and whatever else they have. That's fine. That's what makes you nervous. What it is you want to be. Like tonight, I'm Jamal. Tonight, you're Gabe.
You
We
can feel
are.
free to switch if you want to. It's fine.
But either way, that we do have the same ability, every single one of us, to be special and unique, and celebrate that. That's what I tell people, to celebrate that. Is it, you know what? If you love wearing your hair blue, this is what I love. Where's she at? This is what I love about Kelsey.
There she
Her
is.
red fire hair is her. That is her.
That's it.
That is who and that's what she celebrates. And I have no. To me, that's where I say that's what blows me away about hers, is the fact that. And I'm sorry, Kelsey, to put you on the spot, but that's who you are, and that's how you live, and that's what you share every single day, right? Because that is you. That is what's unique. Reggie and his blue still look there. That's him. That's who he is every day, and he wants to show up as. That's it. You know. And again, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing, guys. If you're not happy with who you are, you have the ability to change it. That's what free will is. To get up tomorrow morning and say, you know what? I'm not happy with who I am. Let me go see who I can be. And that's where finding people who, like you and myself, who are there to help guide other people. This is why I have this platform. So if somebody does reach out, I can help them. I mean, that has been a purpose of mine ever since the beginning. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If I help just one person every single day, I've done a very good thing. And I love the fact that this community that I've been a part of here has grown so much more, that it's given me the ability to reach out to more people to help. To me, that's what's been a real blessing in disguise. So much so is that I've met people like yourself, who are out there, and it lights up my energy when I find somebody else who's willing and able to go out there and do these sort of things to help somebody else find whatever it is to do. That lost soul who says, I need help. I see you. You make so much sense to me. Can you help me in any way? What did you do to get down your path? And I don't know if you've had people reach out to you like that, but it's such a eye-opening experience. I've had a few, and I'm proud to say that anybody else who wants to reach out to that point, I'm always open to sharing who I am and what I am, and helping somebody else find why we are special. I mean, yes, there you go, Anna Maria, like that. We are special.
Anna Maria just said it. I love what Ruby Stanley said, and Ruby is a very dear sister of mine. She says, "Who can be hella you but hella you?" The woman, she's amazing. She's a gem. I wanted to go back to your first question that you asked, though, just about like this journey, because I think the videos, in a sense, is what kind of put it on the map, and I wanted to answer that question just to move us along. And what happened was, a little bit before COVID hit, like what I would do when I was in Kentucky, when I was working as a full-time counselor, I would video blog sometimes, because it's like, you never know when you have so many memories, it could be gone and you just don't know. So I would just start video blogging, and I realized that I was good on camera, and then to promote, a lot of the promotion was like wordless. And this guy, Josh, I'm not gonna give away his last name. He pulled something out of me, and he just said, he said, "You're the easiest person to direct. I give you something that takes 3 hours with one person. It takes 30 minutes with you." He says, "I give it to you and you just take it and run with it. Like this was the last time we were working together." And so I came up, one part of being a Christian was a real deeply religious environment, not with my parents, but with different things I was involved in. And it was always kind of that false humility of like, I'm not supposed to say I'm good at this. And I learned, 4 years ago, coming out, entering back into the professional world, like they want to know if you're the best at it, and I had to remember, like, yo, I am good on camera. It's a gift that God has put in me. So all the video blogging, I would just be making memories and stuff that didn't make any sense. And then it started to be like around the time when COVID hit, I had an hour and a half where I live in DC. And if anybody lives in the DC area, in the DMV, we're in traffic usually an hour and a half around here. And that gave me an hour and a half of discretionary time that I did not have back to go, to walk, to hike, to meditate, to pray. And then on the heels of that meditation and prayer time, I would just whip out my phone because something would be churning in me. And then that's when I would just start video blogging. And I would keep it short because I know for me, I have the attention span sometimes of like a gnat. And so when someone is going on and on and on for like 9 minutes on a LinkedIn video, I'm like, oh man. So I said, minute and a half, 2 minutes max is like your time to just like get this out. And it would just be these short spurts. And for some reason, it start like catching fire. But when I wasn't quote unquote creating content, it wasn't even a content thing for me at first. I would go comment on other people's things because that's content itself. For those who are here, everyone here in this comment section are just givers. I see these people on other people's content, but like, and that would connect me to people because they say, okay, what you wrote was whatever, would you like to connect? And then people started to show me like, hey, you can kind of I see your content. You may want to think about just developing this sort of angle. Billy Salibi is my LinkedIn mentor, and he's been just such an awesome blessing in just the early days, like 7 months ago, of helping me even learn the platform and different platforms. And so my content strategy is to get on a theme, and I kind of do my videos in threes, but I don't post every day. I kind of post 3 times a week. I like to let my post breathe. And the thing, I don't know what it is about my posts, but a lot of times I'll have more comments than likes. So they kind of average around 160, 170 likes, but then like it'll be like 200 or whatever something comments because it's like it gets you talking. For whatever reason, those little short words incite thought, and it cites conversation in the midst of the comments, and I'm very thankful for that. And it's just to speak to sometimes what's going on with a client. What I keep that private so no one ever knows, and I need to learn how to speak more to that. But also it could be like I stay off trend, but I know when everything happened with George Floyd, I felt like I had to speak to that. But I didn't want to speak to that as Black Lives Matter. Ugh, I have my opinions about that. I just wanted to speak to it as a human being, not as a Black man. I just wanted to speak to it as a man with a soul who felt that, man, our nation is in trouble, and I got to speak to this. And I wanted to speak to it to not, you got to join me in solidarity. This is a thing for the long haul. You can take down your black box because this is going to actually cost you something. Real solidarity costs something. And I wanted to speak to that and bring together people who normally would not be together, not get people on my side and win them to my way of thinking, but win them to just the right way of thinking. We should all be on one accord with this. This is just wrong. Not because he was done wrong, but when I thought about the rioting that happened in the streets, I had some what I thought would be unpopular. I was amazed that it actually caught fire. And one of the messages I used was actually kind of something that we say like on the urban piece, like keep that same energy. That's like when you meet me in my face, keep that same energy. And I was led in prayer just to take that and flip that. Like, okay, we have all this energy right now, and we're posting the black box and all this other stuff and Black Lives Matter and hashtag all this to get likes. 2 years from now, when this is still an issue, keep that same energy. Then we see if you have real solidarity.
There you go.
And for all you people who are rioting and who say this is the cool thing to do, I want you to take your address and send that address to all your people on Facebook and Instagram where you ride, and invite them to your mother's house, your uncle's house, the place where you play basketball, where you play tennis, your bank. Invite them there and let them riot. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. These are just the messages that were coming out.
I love that, man. I love that. And I felt very... Me and a partner of mine, we felt very compelled, the same thing, to have these sort of discussions, right? And here's the thing: we open the discussions, and yes, they're very good to get them out there, and everybody to talk, and everybody has ideas. But whenever I ask somebody to keep their feet to the fire, kind of like what you just said, I really went a lot deeper on them, and I said, well, here's the thing, guys: you live, you breathe, you work in these communities. Yes or no? And most of them will say yes. Okay. 2, if you're there and this is your environment, why aren't you taking care of it? It's like a garden. You have to take care and nurture these things for them to actually grow and bear fruit and do the things that you want it to actually do. So I would ask them, here's a few things, just a few things that everybody should know if they're really, 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 really caring about their city and their town and environment and where they live and what they do. Who's your police chief? Who's your city manager? Who's the head of your school board? Who's the head of the fire department? Because these are people that are in key positions that we depend on every single day. These are people making decisions, whether or not you know it, that affect you every single day. They just don't affect you right in the moment. But when something like this happens, all of a sudden it becomes a big deal, and these people become in the spotlight. They've always been there. So how much do you know about them? How much do you care about that? How much do you actually reinvest in your community? That's always been a problem of mine that I tell everybody. It's great to talk all the platitudes and say all the right things, and like you said, put up the black boxes and do everything else. But what do you do to grow to your community? I really care about my community. I'm very upset at the fact that my community, which I live in, is 65% African American. But the police force that manages and runs our city is nowhere reflective of what the population is. Why is that? Why isn't that something that should be important? This is you. This is where we live. These are the people that, this is why they're so, people don't even look at these problems like this and look at it this way. They just see the TV and what the media puts on there, and I'm out of breath. And it's nope. And you're getting me. Don't get me wrong. No life is worth losing. I don't care what it is or how bad it is or what it is. That is not my decision to take somebody's life. It is not my decision to do that. It is for a higher power to figure that out, not mine. So if you're telling me to put it in my hands, unless the divine intervention leads me to do that, I'm not going to do that. It's not for me to do. I value life in all ways, shapes, and forms. But I also, but that speaks to how I value life everywhere around me. So yes, there's a 5-year-old kid somewhere I don't know, but decisions that I do and things that I make will affect him maybe 10 years, 5 years down the road. Who knows? But that's what I mean when I tell everybody, go be active in what it is, where you're at and what you do. And it'll really open your eyes to how you see these situations whenever something like this pops off and things happen and all the riots happen, and you wonder why business owners are crying and everything else, because you're ruining livelihoods. You're doing things just for the sake of somebody's emotions getting out of control.
And that you just said something that was so key. It's like one of the things that inspired like the persistent content creation was when I saw so much get out of control, and it had this and this, it had every color, you name it. And it was because I saw how the media would control and sway people and the way that they were going. And people just started listening to this box on the screen and bought into what this box said and didn't take time to just sit with themselves. They listened to what even influencers said, but didn't take time to pray and meditate and say, what is my role in this? And it was one, when I think about as far as going out and marching and peaceful protests, I remember sharing a specific post that was just on my heart and says, you know what, you can do either unity on the macro, or you can do it on the micro. If you haven't corrected it on the micro, let's just say if we have a family member. I have a great aunt one time, and she said something like really nasty about white people. And this is live, y'all.
This is live, guys. This is live. So
I love the fact that the dog is barking. That's good.
Well, here's the thing, right? So just so everybody can see back behind me, I'm going to move out of the way. My friend Charlie Powers, I won that poster from him, and of course, I just wanted to have it in my background just so I can represent and tell him thank you for sending that. So,
but yeah, to pick up where we left off, it's like, and I remember telling her, granted, she's my great aunt, so I had to be respectful about it, but I was like, that was wrong for you to say that. And so I remember over the summer in June where it was just crazy. People were rushing down to City Hall. Everything's on fire. And it's just like, wait a minute. You probably have people in your own family that are doing some really shiesty stuff, and you haven't corrected that. You haven't done anything on the micro. You look like a hypocrite on the macro. Work within yourself first, so that way your words actually carry authority and weight. And so I've constantly been led to this place and challenging the things in me that are wrong and the things that are wretched and are off kilter in me. And that's a lot of times where the content comes from. Working in a counseling background, so much stuff comes up because you're always cutting through and you're always examining. But anytime before I send something out, it's hitting me square between the eyes. And then as I began to see even more content, on the platform, it's not that the content so much, inspired me, but I was inspired to speak to this group think of, you know, all the buzzwords of provide value and influencer and all this other stuff. I was just like, okay, I'm so tired of hearing this. And I'm so tired of all the egomania of this is my Enneagram and this, that, and the other. It's just like, wait a minute, man. These are people's lives. People are actually connecting with you and following you for a reason. Is there credibility behind all of that influence? And that credibility should show in the way you treat people, not because you have such a big platform, but how are you connecting on a real level with the people, you know, who connect with you, who actually take time out of their day and their night to connect with your content and what you're doing.
There's your wow. You know, and you know, that's where I love the fact that whenever, gosh, you get the opportunity to talk to somebody and really learn about somebody more than just surface level, right? When you really dig into somebody and what it is that their makeup is, I think that's where, and yes, here's the buzzword, but this is where you find the value in somebody. Yeah, there is and that's why I say everybody has that. Everybody, and yes, I hate that that word gets used in different contexts that and that drives me nuts what they're using. When I tell people the value that I find is not in the words that they share or the videos that they create, but who they are as people. To me, that's where I find the most important. That's why I do a
This is real, y'all. This is live.
This is real. This is live. This is live. No, but like I was saying, this is why people are what I love to learn about in every aspect, because I think that's where, again, where I say everybody's got different stories, different ideas, different ways of learning. They have different ways of teaching. So this is why what I find just about anybody that I talk to very fascinating.
Right.
This is why I call my show a people first show, because this is where I find out so much more about you. I mean, I've seen now, just hearing the conversations that you're saying, you kind of see the makeup of who you are and a lot of what your character is as a person. So you can see the pillars of your foundation of how you actually get up every day and you operate in your everyday life. And this is what's fascinating to me, is because some people have not figured that out yet. And what I mean by that is they're still going through life living off of things and stuff that other people tell them that readily influence their lives because it's something that everybody thinks is cool to have, or something, like so much like buying iPhones and shit like that.
Right. Well, I want to speak to that, and I want to say that that's okay. You know, for the person that's there that is in that place of living on substitutes right now, that's purely fine, because that's a part of their story. You know, the thing is like we want the white picket fence story, but I love the fact that our reality shatters that. You know, fantasy is what people want, but reality is what we need. And the reality is that even the quote unquote best of us, if that even is a real term, loses our way. You know, I just had a friend with a call with a friend today who is just a solid man, just a solid house of a man. And his dad, for all intended purposes, is dying right now. And this man is a man of faith. I said, look, if you just want to call me on my phone and just drop 20 F-bombs, you do that. And I'm all right with that. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm shocked. You know, one thing about like a faith-based space, and I love the faith-based space, but you have a lot of people who pretend that, oh, I'm so righteous, no one can come to me with all 150% who they are. It's like, if anything, they should be able to come to you. If anything, they should be able to talk to you about those things and get really raw and get really dirty and get really nasty. You know, one thing about my clients, I tell them, and I'm going to say this, copyright this, because we know people on LinkedIn love to steal. I'm just playing, but I say, be everything you are and be everything you're not, but also give them that return. You know, I don't come to them with this and this kind of fake, I'm a therapist and I have this really flowery voice. That's BS. I am who I am. I release them to be who they are. If you give half of who you are, you'll wonder, you're going to get half a client, and then you're not going to really deal with the pain points. How can you deal with the pain points in a person that can't be honest with you because they're too scared to be their real self because you can't be your real self?
Exactly. Right. And this is why, gosh, you're, man, I so love that because, like you said, there's, you know, and people I've had very rough times with a lot of people who are in that sort of sect of believing that, oh my gosh, the way you speak and the way you say things, it is so morally incorrect and wrong. And for me, I say, well, who's placing what is moral on what I have to say? Who puts that on somebody to say you cannot say these sort of things? Now, if I'm not saying them to be derogatory towards somebody and to hurt somebody's their feelings and to be rude, okay, that's one thing. That's malcontent. That's something just you're uh, trying to hurt somebody emotionally. So yes, that there is something wrong with that. And like you said, if you treat yourself like you want to be treated, but if I'm just using it in general terms, like saying fuck, shit, damn, hell, like I just did now. Why does that matter? I mean, I've had people tell me I can't watch your show because you cuss. Okay, cool. That's part of what you are. That's fine. I have no issue with that, but I'm not going to judge somebody else who does that.
Now,
And
and a lot of times, I'm sorry, I
Go
love
ahead.
listening, but you're just bringing stuff up in me. A lot of times, those who come with a lot of that self-righteous white picket fence, you'd be surprised the immorality that their private life is swimming with. You know, the funny thing about even the counseling realm is is who you are online congruent with who you are offline? You know,
Hmm.
all of us have hypocrisies in our life. None of us are 100%, just on it. Like Hollywood 100% of the time. That's why I have a faith, because I know there's a reconciliation between what I want to be and who I am right now and who I'm becoming. But that's also the way that I mentor. That's the way I advise. That's the way I counsel. Give people that freedom. Let people be who they are and walk alongside them while they're becoming, because you're still becoming. I
Yeah.
love what Veronica, I can't pronounce. I don't want to butcher a Ghanaian woman's last name, but what she says, my client is me, and my client is me in a certain part of my journey, fearful, just bitter, unforgiving, unloving, full of darkness, all of those things, procrastinating, wanting to be a perfectionist. My client just is me, just a further down part of that journey where it's like, let me pull you up while I'm still moving forward myself. But for the counselor and the advisor and the whatever that kind of comes with this whole thing, like they have it all together, it's like, man, you are doing your clients a disservice because you are propagating a lie. It just that is just my message to any coach, any counselor, man. Be relatable. Counseling is hard, but have fun with your clients and let them know you are human. Again, people ask me, like, I don't why people connect with your content. I'm not sure why, but I hope that they see a human being. I hope they see
Yeah.
somebody that's willing to just be themselves, be who they are, be who they aren't. My stuff ain't really all this polished and locked up, but when they have a Zoom with me, I want them to meet that same person. I don't want to have video so polished that when they see me, they're like, oh my goodness, put the filter back on immediately. I've had those Zoom meetings. I'm like, yo, that's not what I saw on the video. What the hell? So I'm just saying, I like to keep it 100, but at the same time, give person the freedom to have this, because we all have hills and valleys. Even through this walk, as a Christian, I've had a lot of hills and and reason that my faith means something to me is because it's like to question everything about it. When I lost my father and I saw him having seizures and wrapped up in cords and blood everywhere, and I stayed up all sleepless nights, and I saw, like, this is what's happening. This is the God that I say I love, and this is what you're going to do to him. That so many other things, not other than having the 9mm right to my face. I mean, I could just tell you, I don't look like what I've been through by God's grace. And so what I believe has been tried in the fire of loss, transition, and change that we don't even have enough time to name. And so it means something to me because it's given me deeper roots. And it gave me deeper roots because I doubted everything it was. Everything I was as a man, I doubted. Everything I was as a counselor, as a leader, I doubted. I went through a crisis, and all of that got shattered. And it brought to me who I really am becoming. And so I'm really thankful for that, because it allows me to chance, even with clientele and even with people, even with content creation, to speak to the deeper level, to actually go past the surface, because unfortunately, and though it was painful, I've been past the surface.
And that right there, my friend, that is the beauty of faith. That is the beauty in all of it. is through all of that there, you still came out with what? Faith in what you believe in, right? Faith. It goes, and it's just sometimes it's so simple, and for a lot of people, faith is hard to grasp. But this is the way I kind of explain it to them. I said, when somebody asked me about it, I said, you know what? It's like this. Do you breathe oxygen? They say yes. Do you believe oxygen exists? Yes. Can you hold it? Can you grab it? Can you see it? No, no, no. But it's there because you're living, right? To me, that's what I tell faith is when I tell somebody that. Faith is something that's very powerful. You can't hold it. You can't grab it. You can't see it. But you know it's there and you feel it, or else you wouldn't be alive. And that's why I love everything that you just said, because again, I've had different views on religion in my whole journey. I've studied different religions. I've studied Judaism. I've studied Catholicism. I've studied uh, Islam and Muslim, and learning the whole story behind it, because I wanted to know. That's just my journey. That was just me, because I want to have a broader understanding of everything what is, and to kind of solidify what I believe. And that was part for me was very vital, and I think everybody else has to figure that out on their own. And that's one of the things about faith. There's no, and I tell everybody, there's no right or wrong way. If somebody's telling you that you're doing something a right or wrong way, there's a lot more problems that they're probably looking for, or there's something out there that there's an insecurity or something that's kind of pointing somebody in that direction.
Right. I would say if somebody's telling someone there's a right or wrong way, they what they do have is a religion. And I was watching Dr. Brian. I love Dr. Brian, man. That's my dude. And he was doing a video today. He dropped it with Luke. Who doesn't love Luke? And Luke grew up in like the faith-based space. And but it also, he said the religion thing, like really, I wasn't feeling that. And it's like, I love when I hear people say that, because it's like, man, that's who he is. You know, like he's being authentically who he is. It's like, I remember telling my counselees, again, I was like, I want to work with you. I don't want to work with your representative. Be who you are. I'd rather know who that person is. I want to know who I'm dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And I'll say this, like I like the fact that you shared that you're well-traveled, you know, and I remember going to Jordan, Egypt, Israel, and France, and London, just different places, and just talking to even like Lithuanians. So it was like Lithuanians who would say, you know, I'm agnostic. I don't believe in anything. And just listening to them. I love listening and kind of getting just a gear of like where a person came from, what that frame of reference is. And for me, I can say, I don't like religion either. I don't have a religion, because what religion is like a bunch of good deeds that you kind of stack up. And then once you've been a good little boy or little girl, it's like, F this, I'm going to go do me. You know, what my faith is a relationship. Somebody who I can't here can't.
We are speaking.
Be touched, but it's a relationship, and so that's why it's rooted and grounded in me. It's shot up in my bones, because it's not a religion. F religion. I'm sorry for if I offended anybody. If anybody wants to unfollow, I invite you to do that. But I just got to be real with who I am. So relationship is what carries me. Religion, that'll bury me. So,
and you call it that. I call it fellowship. Just me wanting to find people who I can communicate with and build what you said, relationship. So yes, I love that, man. That is, we're speaking the same language, and I love it. This is what life is all about, folks. So guys, those who've watched the show, it's that time. It's time for the question, folks. So you know how it goes. If you've been watching the show, this is the question I've asked every guest who's come on the show, except for one, Matt Gagnon. I'm hunting you down. I will find you. You will come back on the show, and I will ask you the question. But here it goes, Jahmaal. So, when the book is said and done on Jahmaal Marshall, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind, and what do you want to be remembered for?
Wow, that's a good question. Many times, because I'm a guest. I'm not a guest, but I'm always in the comment section on your show like 4 times a week. So it's like when you're sitting in the hot seat, how do you answer that? But I would say I want to be remembered. I remember when I was leaving to come back here in 2017, and I read this psalm, And in the context, it's actually God speaking to, Yeshua or Esau or Jesus. It says, ask and I'll give you the nations. And I want to unite the nations. You know what I'm saying? At a time like when we're spread apart, at a time when everybody's asked to choose and to be split right down the middle, I want to be remembered as one who brought people together. And Martin Luther King, he has his own legacy. I don't want to be remembered as him. I want to be remembered as Jahmaal Marshall, and one who did, if there was going to be an epithet on my grave, it would, one of them would probably say he did what he could. I can't be everywhere, I can't do everything, but to do what I can, bring as many people together as possible.
Oh, I love that answer. I absolutely love that answer. And here's the thing, just for everybody who's ever coming on the show, you've been on the show before, there's no right or wrong answer. All this is about perspective and wanting to find out what point of his trajectory Jahmaal's on, and who knows, that answer could change in 10, 20 years. It could be the same. It could be more enriched. It could be so many different things. But for this time and this moment, this is the answer that he gives, and this is the one that I have thoroughly enjoyed. And I've really got to tell you, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation tonight. It has been very eye-opening, and I hope for a lot of people out there who are watching as well, that you'll take the same sort of approach, and just look at life, look at people, look at connection, look at engagement, and look at relationships, however you want to call it, the same way. We all, at the end of the day, put on our shoes, our pants the same way. We get up every morning. We do all the things the same way in some capacity. So I never want to feel like I'm better than anybody else in this world. I never will ever accept that anybody's better than me in this world either. We are, and in my eyes, we are all the same. I fear nothing, not even death. So what can harm me? That's for me how I approach every single day, because I've come to the realization, guess what? 100% of the people on this earth born will die. So you're not getting out of life alive, accept the fact, and look at the things that you find important in your life, and really just go ahead and highlight them, and go figure it out. Go figure out what life is. If you're not getting up every day and having some sort of 1 ounce of joy out of what you're doing, then that's probably not what you're meant to be doing at that point. Maybe you need to start searching somewhere else. Because again, when I wake up every morning, I have people ask me, how do you do all the stuff that I do? Because I get so much joy and happiness out of what I do. It's not a job for me. To me, this is it. This is the fun part. This is what I get to do every single day. So yeah, for me, this is, I am living the life. Yeah, I'm not making all this money, whatever else. I'm meant to have it. I'll be preparing myself for it. If not, then I won't, and I will still continue to do what I do, because I love the fact that I get to highlight, conversate, and help myself. And you don't realize this, but after every single one of these conversations, I learn a different thing about myself every single night. And this is where I get the joy out of it, because again, I'm taking what you've taught me tonight, and I'll put it down here, and I always keep my pad right here, and I always scribble notes down at the end of every show, because that to me is where I feel like I'm getting so much free knowledge from somebody else's journey, and it's just enriching me. So why not be happy and take it all in? So I love this. So I appreciate you, Jahmaal. Thank you so much, my friend, not only for coming on the show this evening for this, but the support that you give and being a part of this community 3, 4, 2 times out of the week. To me, that speaks more volumes than anything else of how much I appreciate you and everybody else who comes in here every single night. So, man, I just want to say real quickly before we do get out of here, folks. I did reveal a few things last week, and I just want to again thank everybody who's given me or sent me messages of support and everything else. It's been very comforting, and it has helped me, get past so much because I know that there's so many caring individuals in the world, and I'm just happy that each one of you is part of my support system and helping me grow as a person, and I love every single one of you. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you so much, everybody, again, for being who you are, and just being special and joining the whole chat and the whole thing. So before we get out of here, let me just again put it up here so where you can connect with Jahmaal. If you're not connected with him already, please do yourself a favor. At the bottom of the screen, and I'll put this in the comments as well, you can connect with him on LinkedIn. Is that probably the easiest place to connect with you, Jahmaal?
Yeah, a lot coming in the new year, but for right now, that's the easiest place to connect with me. I don't turn anybody away except Forex and Bitcoin. Just gonna be honest about that. So come on, man. He who has an ear, let him hear, man. Let's get into it. And I'm
Okay.
down with that.
And then you can also check out his Instagram there, guys.
Tailor.
Connect with him if you're a big follower on Instagram and you hunt over there a lot. Go check him out as well. And of course, before I get out of here, one more brief thing, guys. Special shout out, Mr. Joseph Morium. Hope you're watching. His wife is getting on LinkedIn, and she's trying to build connection. And I think when she started today, she's had like 5 followers. So I'm just tell people connect with Marina Mori. Send her a connection request. Please do me a favor. When you send connection request to somebody, please put a thoughtful message in there and just show that you take the time to actually care to send somebody where you saw or how you heard or how you got connected. Please, please, please. That's all I beg of you to do. Other than that, you guys rock. You know how much I care about each one of you. And of course, you can check it out on the Discord as well. Scan the QR code there on the bottom. It'll take you to our new Discord. You can go hang there after the show, meet some of these interesting people that you see in the comments. So if you're interested in just hanging out late night, go to the Discord. There's so many people there hanging out. Just about every single time that I've gone in there, there's somebody new going in there. So thank you, everybody, so much. And thank you, Jahmaal, for coming on the show. I appreciate every single one of you. And there it is. Yes. So there's Travis. Thank you, Travis, for putting that in the comments. It's actually a link now in the comments. If you click on it, it'll take you over to the Discord. You can go there, hang out, have more of these sort of conversations, and just build real connection, real relationships. So, guys, I will be back tomorrow evening, 7:30 Central Standard Time. My guest for the evening will be Bruce Carnahan. He is the guy in the blue shirt. That is how he pins himself on LinkedIn, and he has a few live shows. So you can come by, check him out. We'll impress him a little bit, you guys. You can come over here and just ask him tons of questions. I think he loves questions, so that will be a brilliant show. So thank you guys so much. And again, Jahmaal, sit tight. Everybody else, stay safe, stay blessed, and above all, love each other. We'll get through this together. Good night, everybody.
Grace and peace, guys.